Hey, you're watching the Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm Elisa. Just want to remind you, the month of July, I'm doing a giveaway for the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which is my favorite deck. I'm going to put a link to the July monthly reading, which kind of gives an overview for the month of July, but also talks about the giveaway and how to enter, etc. I got the Ancient Ones, at the bottom of the deck, which is pretty appropriate because it's funny. Like, I actually had a dream last night with my father in it when I was waking up, but then also I got some random message from someone on Instagram yesterday that was something like, your ancestors have a message for you and it's very important, you know. So it's like, okay, oh my gosh. So this just popped out of the deck, and I just literally just went to go visit my father at the cemetery, and I was just driving home. I literally just got back, and there was a huge, huge lightning bolt that shot right in front of the car on the way home. Pretty beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna pull a couple more cards from Mystical Shaman because I feel like this is a really amazing deck that has really profound messages, and it is my favorite deck. So that's why I'm doing the giveaway for it this month. Oh, wow. Okay, crazy. Okay, so I feel like there needs to be a whole thread with just the readings around this card, because there have been a lot of them this year, and I almost want to go back and watch all of those in sequence because it's really powerful. I might have to put that together. But it's kind of like, it's almost like a discharge from the spiritual dimension, you know, and it's like an awakening, you know, where something's going to come into awareness that's going to completely and profoundly shape your perspective, you know. And it's like all of a sudden, it's just sort of like a light bulb moment, you know. But it's, the way they describe it in the book is like it's a discharge from the spiritual world. And sometimes it can be so powerful that it actually injures people, you know, because you can really burn, you know. I mean, it's really powerful. But that, and then we have the moon, which is, you know, it talks about the ebb and flow of life. And it's interesting because it came out in yesterday's reading too, or the last reading that I did. And you know, everything happens in this cycle, this 28-day cycle. And to me, this is just like, whoa, this reading is really, it's really like blowing my mind, because like, this is probably TMI, but I had gone through this super stressful period with my vegan cheese empire. I've talked about that and all the stress related to that, and I had kind of withered away, and I had gotten really skinny, and at one point I was like under 100 pounds, and it had really taken this physical toll. And so it's like I almost went into this sort of prepubescent state where I was just like no longer in my cycle, you know. And so I've been healing from that for a while, and yesterday it like magically reappeared, and I was just like, I thought I had just like menopaused, you know. But yeah, so it's wild that this is coming up right now, because it's talking about the ebb and flow of life and being in sync with that natural rhythm. And also it talks about, you know, wherever you're at, like things are going to come around again. And so I think it's also auspicious about this a period of renewal, you know, that's happening, because things are always in flow, and like if you're in the flow, it's okay. Like things are gonna ebb and flow, and you're gonna be renewed, you know, just by staying in that rhythm. And then this is so crazy. So then we got the arrow. And so this is a card of sort of being in alignment with the universe, so that when you release your intention into the universe and let it go, when you are in alignment, it's going to hit its mark. And there's going to be like a contact point that's going to surface in sort of the material world where you hit your mark, and sort of like your intentions and your manifestations sort of surface in like the three-dimensional world. Like there's a point of contact. So this is a really good omen that, you know, your arrow is going to hit the mark. And yeah, this is so wild, because I was talking about my father and getting a message from him, and the reading that I did right after he passed away. This was a really prominent message. I feel like I need to link that reading too, because it's got something to do with this. So yeah, it's like there's like some massive awakening that's happening, and I mean it's in alignment with sort of like three-dimensional reality, and it's like almost like your moment has come, and it's about to sort of manifest in the world. And this is all being guided by your ancestors from the world, spiritual world. It's so crazy too, because it just started like thundering and lightning outside right when I started this reading. This reading is like really crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Muse Tarot to pick some general energies for this reading. And like right when I pull it out of the box, the card at the bottom is the Ace of Voices. So this is like a moment of truth, you know? It's a moment of truth. The arrow's gonna hit the mark. You are in sync with the universe, and you have the support of your ancestors. So this is like a really powerful reading that's coming through. Okay. I'm just gonna pull 3 cards. But yeah, just to remind you, if you are new to the channel, the videos on the channel are arranged according to storyline and not according to zodiac sign or date. So all of the readings are timeless. And I have the storylines arranged in playlists on the channel. So sometimes I'll refer to that, but then I also refer to readings within the video that are relevant to that video, and I'll link them within the video. So these are just different ways to browse the channel if you so desire. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Materials. So this is like the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 8 of Materials, and we have the 10 of Materials. So it's like they're all materials, which are like pentacles, which are sort of like earth signs. And I think this is really interesting, because it's like we have all this support from the universe, you know, but these are super earthly cards, you know, where it's just sort of like it's like this is your moment, you know. It's like there's been all this work that's been happening in the realm of spirit and energy, but it's actually surfacing in physical reality right now. I mean, that's what I'm getting, because it's just like all earth cards, you know. So we have this queen, which this is a loving, nurturing queen. You know, she's really solid, you know, and she lays a solid foundation. She's like a builder, you know. I mean, she builds things, and be that like family or business, but you know, she's kind of like a rock. And then we have the Eight of Materials, which, you know, this is, it can be like the Craftsman card, or on the traditional deck, it is like a craftsman who's like beating out this pentacle. But it's also just like putting a dedicated effort towards something. And the Ten of Materials is just like abundance, you know. I mean, there's this like tree with all these blossoms, and there's this family dancing around it. It's like generational, it's a foundation for like a generational wealth, like building a dynasty, you know. And so there's like a whole thread called Dynasty about that. So this is really interesting. So it's almost like this inspiration is coming to this Queen of Pentacles, and she's been like working hard. I'm sorry, just a little interruption, but she's been putting a dedicated effort towards something for a while. But it's almost like, you know, she's been putting this effort towards this intention, you know, but it's like now she's kind of come into her moment with it, you know, because it's just like the natural rhythm of when it's supposed to come to pass. It's like everyone's got their 15 seconds of fame, you know, but it's like there's a lot of work that leads up to that 15 seconds, you know, and a lot of it's thankless. Like, you're not always in your moment, you know, but this is a moment for something to come to fruition. And whatever it is that she's been working towards, her arrow's about to hit the mark, where she's about to like lay this really solid foundation to build something from. So this is really exciting. Okay, so I'm going to go to, I have this new deck, and it's the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, and I really love the artwork on this deck. Oh my gosh. So when I split it, I got the Moon, and we got the Ten of Swords. So it's like there's, and it's like funny, because like, I don't know if you heard the thunder that came out with that, with the split, but there, thunder was like a big thing that came out in yesterday's reading, so I might refer to that reading here. But you know, this is the realm of watery emotions. So like a lot of emotions about something coming to an end, you know. So it's just sort of like there's this new beginning that's coming online here, but you know, at the same time, something's coming to an end. So there's a lot of energy being discharged, you know. I mean, whatever this change is like profound and very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to pull 6 cards from this Golden Art Nouveau to just get some more clarity about what's going on. But whoa, this reading is like kind of knocking my socks off so far. And yeah, as I'm saying this, like, just, I don't know if you've been hearing all the thunder and lightning, but it's pretty wild. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. There's 2 that came out here. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this card just flopped out, the Magician, which this is a card of manifestation. And it's a card of being able to turn lead into gold, and like being able to sort of like manifest your intention. You know, it's like your arrow is hitting the mark. But then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Sun, which this is the best card in the deck. It's like happiness, abundance, fertility, you know, it's like everything. Okay, so this reading is just like kind of blowing my mind so far. Okay, so we've got 3 of Cups, we've got the Hermit, and we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So the Three of Cups falls right under this Queen of Pentacles, who's having some sort of inspirational moment that's kind of like change in her life on this profound level. And this is a card of like reunion oftentimes, or it can be a card of like community. It's like this thunder. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like loud. So there's some sort of community aspect or reunion that's happening around this queen, but I'm going to keep going and see what happens with this. Okay, so then we got the Hermit. So this can be a card that signifies like Virgo energy, but it's also someone that's like on a spiritual quest, and you know, they're being enlightened, and they're being led by this light, you know. And so it's just like interesting because, you know, this Queen of Pentacles has been on this quest for some time, and she's been putting a dedicated effort towards this. You know, she's been kind of on her own spiritual quest, and maybe she's like pulled away from, you know, the day-to-day droll, you know, because she's been working on whatever this development is, you know. And then it's interesting because it's just sort of like she's got the Knight of Pentacles. I don't know if you can hear all this, but it's just like this reading is blowing my mind. The Knight of Pentacles is kind of like this shows movement, you know, but he's not like the other knights in the deck, because the other knights are like fly by night. This Knight of Pentacles, he's kind of slow moving, but he builds things that last. Like he's solid, you know. He's on the move, but he's solid, like you can count on him. And so it's interesting because it's just like, yeah, like whatever it is that she's been working on that's coming online, it's like, it's not like a fly-by-night thing. Like, this is a solid development, and this is like a dynasty. Like, this is the foundation for something that's gonna impact generations, you know. Whoa. And then on the next row, so underneath this Queen of Pentacles, she's like building some sort of community around her, and there's like an end of one cycle of life and the beginning of another cycle. So it's almost like, you know, this can be, it's like, you know, like when you graduate from college and you enter into this new realm of life. So it's like sort of how I'm taking this is like she's stepping into like a new almost community around her. You know, it's like, you know, you graduate from school and then you move away and you make all new friends, and like you build a whole new community around yourself based on totally different, you know, context. And so it seems like this Queen of Pentacles is graduating into some new cycle of life, you know, with whatever this enlightening moment is. It's propelling her into some new era. And then we have the Chariot card. So it's like she's gone on this spiritual quest and she's put forth this effort, and now she's come into sync with the universe. You know, she's with the rhythm, and this is like empowering her to like take the reins and like move forward. And then we have the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups. So this is just like an offer of love, you know. There's an offer being put forward, and this is sparking, like, triggering some decision that's needing to be made, you know. So it's interesting because there's like all this abundance that's coming online, and this is like a steady thing, you know. But then at the same time, beyond just this physical like abundance, there's also this offer of love coming in, you know, which is interesting as I was talking about this dynasty, because it's not just wealth that's happening. There's like a family that's being built around around this. So it's like she's graduating into this Queen of Pentacles. It's almost like she's graduating from like maybe like singled into like married life almost, you know. And so her community is going to evolve around this new era. And it's interesting because, you know, the Sun card, which was at the bottom, it often indicates like family, you know. There's the baby in the card, you know. Pretty wild. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 more cards from the Muse about how we're going to move through this moment. But this is like, oh my God, it's almost like someone's getting married. Something like this is, it's pretty big. And notice like there's been like thunder through this whole reading. I don't know if you've been able to hear all that, but it's like there's been this like constant rumbling through this whole thing. Okay, 1 more card. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright. So at the bottom we have the 10 of Inspiration. You know, and this is kind of like the end of like this burden. You know, it's almost like she's graduated from whatever this is, these bottles of water that she's been having to carry on her back uphill. You know, like this, whatever this enlightening thing that's happening to her is, it's going to allow her to put this down for once and for all, you know. And she's going to walk into, she's going to go from carrying jugs of water uphill, you know, to this. And it's going to be like this light bulb moment that's going to bring her there. And then what's crazy is that the card that fell on top of this, stepping, I don't know if you can hear this, but it's like stepping into this new world, like she's graduating from whatever and stepping into this new world. And what falls on top of this is the Sun. It's this card, but from another deck. So yeah, exactly what I was saying. She's graduating from this to this. Wow. And then I pulled the 3 of Cups again, you know, so this is another double message. So this is like, you know, building a new community, or it can also be like reuniting with someone from the past, but it's just sort of like, this fell on top of this. She's gone on this lone spiritual quest, you know, and she's been working really hard, but she's been kind of on her own, you know, and so like now it's almost like this cycle is changing, you know, and she's taken the reins and like she's like rejoining community, or she's like being accepted, you know. It's like she's learned whatever she needed to learn from this, and now she's coming home. And then we have the 7 of Materials, which is, it's like the 7 of Pentacles in a traditional deck. And this is planting seeds for the future, you know. So it's just like she's planting seeds for this dynasty, you know. And she's laying this solid foundation. Oh my God, can you hear that? And there's love, and there's stability, and this is like sort of like a turning point. Building seeds for the future. Wow. This reading is crazy. Okay, I'm going to the Sacred Self-Care Oracle because, you know, as I was talking about with the month of July reading, it's like crossing the bridge over troubled water into a new era, which this is definitely coming through on this reading. I mean, so, but one of the big messages that came in for the month of July is like there's big stuff going down, and so it's really important to take care of yourself, because this is a lot, you know. And so I'm pulling from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle because I'm just kind of reinforcing this theme of self-care, because this is how we're going to move through July. So the message that we got is, be still. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. These are like huge changes. And, you know, so it's like rein in your power and like be still. Take this moment. Take it in. Okay, well, good luck with all this. Hope it goes smoothly, and I'll be back soon with more messages.